Okay, thank you.
Hello. Testing one, two, three. Can anyone hear me? Let's see. I have video. I have here.
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, good. Okay. Um, is it almost time for me to start?
Yep. So we're just going to wait a couple more minutes for people to join, and then at 11:20, I can introduce you in your talk, and then you have free reign.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. Can we just hear a note?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Just to let you know, are you planning on having a time for questions from the
Yes,
audience?
I'd really like to talk with people. Certainly.
Okay. So we'll give you a little bit of a warning, like a 5 to 7 minute warning when our time is approaching its end so that we can have time for questions at the end.
That's great. Okay.
Awesome.
Well, I might, I might wait for questions in between. You know, it's you know, play a little bit and then see if people have questions.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's wait a few minutes and see who comes.
Yep.
I'm going to pop off and check some of the other tracks just to make sure there's no technical issues that are cropping up here. I'll be back.
Okay, that sounds good.
I don't know how well this Zoom does with audio. I know it's good for voice. It should be a piano sound.
We can hear that pretty well.
Sounds good.
Soft. Loud. Soft.
Yeah. Yeah, the aftertouch seems to be working well.
It's when people have the homes, the home theater set up. That's when they have really good audio. That's really great. But most people have these little tiny little speakers, or they have earbuds or things like that. Well,
See, like right now, I'm watching this. I'm watching this on on a HDMI connection
mm-hmm.
to my computer,
Yes.
and the audio coming out of the HDMI, and I have the sound coming out of the HDMI. The speakers in my
Speakers in your
monitor.
monitor, right?
Yeah, in my well, actually, it's a monitor TV, but yeah, it is. I'm using it as a monitor, so it does
Okay,
work
well,
pretty well. It does sound pretty decent.
how about a drum?
Not bad.
Cymbals.
Nice fight.
Okay, well.
What'd you do there? How'd
Let's
you?
see.
Okay, I'm gonna mute.
Okay.
Hey everyone, we could start. We could start the next talk now. Here we have electronic keyboardist Don Slepian. He first presented his program at TCF in 1982, and he's currently a researcher at the Electronics Music Education Preservation Project. His talk will be a live orchestral music using his current custom assemblage of computer music instruments. And as part of his lecture demonstration, he will host a discussion on modern tools and techniques in computer music performances. So,
Well, thank you for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. I'm glad you're here. I have a keyboard set up in front of me, and I have a small controller on the top that's connected to a Mac Mini computer, and that's where I've done all the voicings, all the different sounds that I've used to combine in this instrument. So what I wanted to share with you this morning is some what we call patches, some combinations of sounds that I find interesting and unusual. Um, First off, let's see, let me just get this right. Okay. I have a beautiful string sound. How's the sound for everyone? Does it sound like strings?
It sounded beautiful.
I loved it.
Good. Well, what I'm able to do, see, I can't really hold up a pedal. I have the ability to blend different sounds together. So if I say, for instance, here I'm going to start the string, and then I'm going to put bells on top. That's in a more ethereal style, but that's what I'm showing is blending strings, orchestral strings with chimes, being able to blend the two sounds together on the same keyboard. What I have here in front of me, you see a number of push buttons. Actually, there's actually 18 of them here, another 5 over here. This is being scanned by a computer that unfortunately is out of the camera range at the moment, but I did the programming to make the sounds and make the combinations. Um, this is, as we mentioned before, this is now 40 years since my first TCF presentation. And back then I was doing music, and I'm still doing music now. This instrument that I'm playing is about 25 years old. It's one of the instruments from the 90s, the Kurzweil. Let me show you a few more sounds. Let me pause for a moment. Are there any questions or anything you guys want to say or hear? Yes, no, we have, in my view, it looks like we have about 5 or 6 people. I'm curious with the Zoom, when I see people's names but I don't see their cameras, does that mean that they might still be listening? Oh, look, I see the chat. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the chat. Okay, yes, the controller on top, uh, this controller here I'm touching with my hand. This controller is called a Korg Nano Control, and it's a USB peripheral. So I have a USB connection here coming out of the Korg Nano Control that goes right into the computer. I'm using a programming environment called Plug Visual, which I'm happy to share with anybody if anyone's interested in the software, what I'm doing. I'm happy to share my patches. Plug Visual allows me to assign each one of these buttons to complex MIDI commands. In this case, I'm changing the sound. Say, for instance, a piano, or here might be horns. It's actually a pretty nice piano. What makes this instrument unusual is that I can blend the sounds together. So I just showed you before an example of doing strings. With bells on top. Here what I'll do is show by touching these buttons here, what I'm doing is actually sending commands that enable me to reprogram the instrument. I guess the way you'd visualize it is imagine somebody playing a cello and all of a sudden they have a flute and then a piano or whatever, and they don't even have to move or change the position in their chair. Please type in the software you're using with the Korg Nano. Okay, just a second. I do have a keyboard here. I knew it. Let's see. I believe you go to Plug. Just a second. PLOGUE.com. The program is called Visual. And let's see, you can my email. I don't know whether it's in the program. It's don.slepian@gmail.com. If you're interested in this stuff, I'm happy to share my patches and what I'm actually what I'm doing behind the scenes. Primarily here, I just want to see. I'm curious to how well a Zoom call can actually convey the audio of this. About 4 or 5 years ago, just before the pandemic, I did do a program, that was live. We were at the College of New Jersey and had like 40 or 50 people in the room. And now these last couple of years, it's been very isolating. Not many occasions to get together with people. So we're all used to this new Zoom reality, which I know is good for voice and meetings, but music, we'll see. Was there any other question? Okay, I typed in the thing. Was there any other questions I missed? Okay. Yes. Okay. YouTube videos. All right. Very good. All right. Everybody still here? Good. Um, Music's interesting stuff. It takes me to different places, and I guess you. How many here? How many of you actually play instruments? Yes, oh, two, three,
Yeah.
four, and I'm sure there are people there. If there are people with their cameras off, I'm sure some of them too. So you know what it's like when you're just making something up and you just sort of lose track of where you are. That's this sort of music that I was playing, which you would call ambient electronica, is like soundtrack music for a movie that you're making up in your mind, which is interesting. Um, let's go something more real. Let's see. What do I want to go? I have some nice woodwinds. I have here another patch where I have a split. I have a bass on the side, and here a piano, sort of like an acoustic bass. Interesting what music comes out this morning, no telling. Anyway, that's sort of fun because you take your mind wherever it goes. I should say a word or two about this keyboard in front of me. This is a Casio electric piano. So it's something you might find in a classroom. And coming out of it is a USB connection, which is to again go into my computer. So I'm not using any of the sounds of this keyboard. I have an external instrument called a Kurzweil that is doing all the samples that you're hearing, the different sounds. This keyboard has two, can I just imagine my fingers as two bus bars, and when I press down a key, I'm actually closing two switches one after the other. The computer's scanning this several thousand times a second, and it's seeing how quickly do I go from one to another, and that's determining the loudness. Like for instance, are you hearing a gradation from soft to loud? In the orchestral sound I was playing before, that's just like an arco string. Let's do it a little louder. The timpani comes in. Now the cymbal comes in. In other words, I'm layering the sound based on how quickly I depress the key. It's very soft. And it doesn't just get louder, it changes in timbre. So I'm not touching at other controls, I'm just doing this with a touch of my fingers on the keyboard. There are 128 levels of loudness. It's actually the velocity sensed and converted to a 7-bit number to the 7th is 128. And then it's interpreted by the software I'm using into the MIDI commands that I need to control the other instruments. Oh, look at this. Can you add percussion to create a combo? Oh, what software am I using to get bass and cymbals? Okay. Oh, klezmer. Yeah, well, maybe. Let's see. What you're hearing with the bass and the cymbals is this is actually a single patch. This is, in other words, in the Kurzweil instrument that I'm using. Kurzweil is the Ray Kurzweil was actually designing instruments back in the 80s and 90s until he went off into artificial intelligence and all the things that we know him for now. But he was an instrument designer, and he designed the instrument I'm playing. And this is a single patch in which I'm switching by velocity. So when I program up my sound in the Kurzweil, it's, you know, just have this little interface. I program up the sound. They determine that when I play softly, it's just a very slow string, like you're drawing the bow slowly across. And then if I want to play quickly, I have to play louder. And if I play a little louder than that, down here, there's the cymbal. And down here will be the bass. So by controlling your velocity, it does sound like orchestration. I mean, it really does sound like an instrument's coming in and out, and I'm just controlling it by the touch on the keyboard. Let's see if I can give you another. Oh, okay. Here's another example of different orchestration. So I have horns and strings together, and now if I touch it, you know, a little quicker, hear the drum come in. So let's say I'm in 4/4 time. I'm going to do it on beats 1 and 3. With apologies to Verity, but you know, that's a march from Aida. But you're hearing what I'm able to do is, since it's on velocity, I can determine what beats I accent. And this is really for performing these sorts of things. I mean, we've been seeing computers make music since really the 50s was the start of computer music. And what makes this actually interesting today is you can play it like an instrument. You notice I'm not, you know, I'm not having to mouse around or do anything fancy. It's just a matter of being able to sensitively touch a keyboard. Now, adding percussion to create a combo, yes, generally what you're thinking about there is oftentimes these instruments, particularly like the Casio ones, and Roland and Korg as well, they have a section that's a separate percussion section where you can start a drum machine. I didn't put a drum machine on this instrument because I'm more interested in using percussion, you know, to play it. For instance, let's hear this. Now that's a drum in a mathematical space. That's actually digital reverb. That there was never a microphone involved with it. This is the computer is calculating millions of echoes. If you listen to this on headphones, it might sound better. Who knows? Were there any questions before any other questions before I go on? I have a little bit more time, don't I? Yes. Let's see, okay? Yeah. Okay. Good. Anything that I haven't played or anything you want me to explain? You can use the chat. All right. Well, in that case, onwards. What would I want to show you? Oh, let's see. Sort of like a Hammond organ. Oh, sure, that's interesting. What else can I show you? Oh, okay. There was a question about percussion. Here, I have a keyboard, but I actually have some drum kits laid out on it. I don't know if any of you have actually played the drums with your fingers. That's a kick. That's a kick drum. I have a snare or two. I'm going between my fifth finger here. Can you see it on your screens? Okay, there's a cymbal. Fun. Okay. Generally, people don't play drums with their fingers. We have drum machines and do much more sophisticated programming. What I'm doing here with this instrument is playing it live. So in this case, with the orchestral percussion, I'm just pulling in timpanis. These are, sort of things you might see in a lot of movie soundtracks. People use these sorts of instruments. Though nowadays, I'm playing a hardware instrument, and the instruments I'm using now are mostly software. They're mostly programs. No hardware needed anymore today. But today I'm going retro. I'm playing synthesizers from the 90s. What else can I show you here? Oh, I love the sound. Listen to the ambience, the echoes of it. This may be too soft to come across. I'm actually playing here. I don't know if you can still hear it. Is that coming across Zoom?
Yeah, we can hear that.
Oh, good. Okay. Let's see. Two questions. If you take a look, actually, I have a whole bunch of performance. I have a video blog. Let's see. Where can I type? Oh, here. Oh, I see there. And hit enter. Oh, okay. Yeah, don.slepian@gmail.com is my email address for anybody. I'm happy to follow up and talk with anybody. Um, I have a music video blog here. synthharmony.com. If you look for me in Google, I have stuff on YouTube and various places around the net. So I certainly, you can find it. What I could say is it's really great to have chance to play for people because it's we've really been sort of indoors for years, it seems. So I'm glad to be here and do this. The other question, Why do you use the Casio instead of the Kurzweil itself? Okay, what I actually have with the Kurzweil is I have what's called a module. In other words, it's about this by this. It fits into a rack. It's small. The Casio is only 23 pounds. You know, so I can pick this up under an arm. I can walk up a flight of stairs. It's like no problem at all. Instruments like the Kurzweil and others are 2 or 3 times that weight. And at this point, I don't like carrying heavy things. I just leave that for the gym. I don't appreciate carrying large, expensive instruments up and down stairs or that sort of thing. So also, this Casio keyboard has it's called a semi-weighted keyboard. It's not quite like a grand piano, but it doesn't feel like an organ. And I actually like the feel of this keyboard. You know, it's a matter of personal taste, but I like the feel of the Casio better than any of the Kurzweil keyboards. They're a little harder to play. This is much easier. This is sort of like an electric piano sound. But unlike an electric piano, I can make a totally different sound by using the pedal. Without the pedal, I can do staccato. But here with the pedal, so that's a thing about keyboards, about musical instruments, is you want them to be expressive and you want to have variations. You want to be able to not play the sound. If you played electric keyboards, typically you just press a stop and it plays the same sound and it doesn't really change. But here what you're hearing is my ability to take within a single patch, I can go from slow and ominous to like that. You know, that's you can't really hear the dynamics, I'm sure, over Zoom, but it's really quite something in concert. One of the things I was interested in is playing this as a concert instrument, you know, as a soloist. Generally, these things are locked up in recording studios and you make movie soundtracks with them, but nobody's going out and playing them as a solo instrument. And I think that's too bad. It'd be a new experience for concerts. You know, in other words, electronic music and computer music has sort of grown beyond just novelty now. It actually could be listened to. Let's see, were there any other questions? Are you aware? Oh God, almost every popular song uses these instruments. Is there anything I missed? No, I don't think. You tuned up the sustain on it with pedal. Yes, just like a piano. I have a foot pedal, and I can actually use a number of pedals to do different expressions or things on this. Okay, it's sort of a harpsichord. Interesting sounds. What you end up doing is you collect the sounds that work for you musically, and then you arrange them. Because if you do too much variation of sound, the ear is very fatiguing to the ear. You know, what I'm saying is, rather than changing lots of patches, it's good to just use a few sounds and do something with them. If you start with piano, for instance, here's just a piano. Sounds like a piano. Now add a bass to it. Or add strings to the piano. This sound is layered. You can hear the strings fading now. For instance, if I play it really short, it sounds like a piano. But if I hold down a chord, you can hear strings and piano blended together. Now these are echo effects that are inside the Kurzweil itself. I have a patch here that does some looping. I'm holding down the pedal, and I just started a sequence which I can loop. Interesting sound. I kind of like this one. Now I can set something like that up and sort of solo on top of it. Sort of goes on in layers like that. Other familiar sounds, a pipe organ. old-timey fiddle. Oh my goodness. Well, uh, gee, actually, old-timey fiddle is really solo fiddle. I have all those things, but usually on the digital side with my, with the virtual instruments rather than this. This really has better ensemble strings. The Kurzweil that I'm using is the 2600R, the rack mount version of the K2600. Came around 1998 or so. I've had this since around 2003, so it's now 20 years in my hands. Still like the instrument. Um, it just, some of the sounds are a little dated. I mean, you've heard these sounds before, and some of them are not because you use them in different ways. So really, the challenge is to, what can you do with what you're given? Are there any other questions about the music or sounds? I'll play you some more music. I have much more to show. Any, okay. You can talk in the fiddle in the chat because I can read the chat. Okay, let's see. Something entirely different. Oh. Hmm. To answer this, somebody's asking, the Kurzweil has an endless glissandi. Did I ever find a good use for it? No, not the one in the Kurzweil. I've used other endless glissandi, specifically what we call shepherd tones. Um, after psychologist Roger Shepard, who made a sound that went down and down forever, or a sound that goes up and up forever. I love those psychoacoustic illusions. Um, let's see where. Okay, we have. I guess looks like we have what 10 minutes more. Is that right? I have 2:04 here. I'm hoping that's the correct time. 12:04, that is.
Yeah, that's the correct time. We have until about 12:15.
Oh, okay. Okay, so about 12. It's still about 10 minutes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oh, Jim, thank you. It's good to see you here. You're asking for pictures at the exhibition because you remember, God, it was almost 15 years ago I played it here in Stroudsburg with my friend Stuart Diamond. That orchestral sound we had before, I can play at least the promenade a little bit. That I. Yes, it's actually a great piece of music that I play with my partner Stuart Diamond. Let me give you the URL for that if you want to hear that. Let's see, can I do this? Oh, there. Okay, here. electricdiamond.com. Did I get that right? There, electricdiamond.com. Oh, did I spell that? Oh, no, I didn't spell that. I'm sorry. Let me try that again.
Hi, Don.
Typing.
Just make sure that you're sending the message to everyone and not direct messaging
Oh,
me.
I see. Direct message. Okay, let's try to change that. Not save chat. Where is it? How do I change it to everyone?
Where it has the name, you could click on that, and the first one should be everyone in the meeting.
Oh, there we go. I got it. Everyone, hooray. Okay, yes, let me try this again. Now, sorry, everybody. Here we go. I'm just. I think that might work. Okay, good. With Electric Diamond, it's a partner, my friend Stuart Diamond, who plays the Lyricon. And we have a bunch of videos and recordings on that site that you can see and enjoy. Open source there's tremendous amounts of open source instrument sounds. And then there's also lots of either near cheap or very inexpensive libraries that you can get. So it's not so much, these what's interesting about these sounds is the playability because of the interface they have, the ability to quickly go back and forth or within a single sound to orchestrate. change in the feeling of the bowing, you know, from staccato to legato, as I go. That's being done through velocity by touch. So you can, uh, if anybody's interested, you can drop me a line. I can give you suggestions on either free or near free things, sources for playing around with this if you have a keyboard that connects to your computer. Could you put the information in a PDF for download? Oh, which information are you talking about? I'm sorry. There's just so much to share with this, but I only have a few more minutes, so let me share a little bit more music. It looks like about 5 more minutes. Um, hmm. Let's see, links and sources. Thank you so much. Thank you. Pleasure playing for you this morning. Or, yes, it is still morning. Or no, it's afternoon. 12:13 by my digital clock. Any last questions or anything I'd do for anybody? I did give my email address, which I guess right now, if you're interested in follow up or anything, just let me know. Not so much a phone person, but I'm happy to talk to the phone. Just I don't carry it with me that much. Let me give my email address one more time. don.slepian@gmail.com. There we go. Okay. And if you look me up in Google, there's lots of music and other things there. I hope that there's more opportunity to get together in person, which I'd love to do down in Trenton or um, Princeton. I love to play in Princeton, and of course, New York. Anyway, thank you very, very much. I appreciate it, everyone.
Thank you, Don, for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next talk is going to be at 12:25. So we're going to have a short break right now. You can choose to stick around or leave and come back, whatever works for everyone.